With the Bitcoin halving reducing the number of newly issued Bitcoin that the Moon Boys have to gobble up to pump the price being reduced by half, the baby bears have an upward battle if they want to see a dump of any significance. But are the bears getting weaker and weaker by the day? So weak, in fact, that even an eensy-weensy little dump is possibly becoming out of reach. We are now living in a post-fourth Bitcoin halving world, leaving it harder and harder for the bears to have any sustained price dumpiness for Bitcoin. But what if I told you that what comes next isn't just big, it's so big that it's extremely big. So if you understand that in the remaining 8 months of 2024, Bitcoin isn't going to pump, it's going to absolutely explode pump to the upside, big time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, get signed up to FEMEX or BINGX below if you want to buy Bitcoin or altcoins. Without any further ado, let's absolutely pump, dump, and everything in between into this video, where Bitcoin right now has started off this week a little green. This is our very first day trading in this new weekly candle. Currently, again, we're entering a new era. This is the era post Bitcoin's fourth halving. Every time that we've seen this daily supply issuance get cut in half, it has been a massive factor and contributor to gainers that you, quite honestly, maybe can only imagine in your dreams. But that's the thing. That's the thing. You don't even have to imagine them because they're coming. The gains are coming big time, extremely big. Will it be tomorrow? Will it be the next day? I don't know. Nobody does. However, I'm extremely confident that Bitcoin is going to do what it's always done and completely knock our socks off as we enter this massive bull market, as we continue this massive bull market. So I want to look at the price, but there's a few things we have to talk about first. So that's the Bitcoin market now has actually been reset, which is exactly what we want. Open interest weighted funding turned negative for the first time since October of 2023. That was before Bitcoin ran from about 27K to 40, almost 50K without any real dip. Okay, if we go back to October of this year, or sorry, of last year, of 2023, that was right about here, right? Bitcoin was at 27, exploded up to mid 40s, traded sideways a little bit. We had the we had the Bitcoin spot ETF approval launch, and then we continued to the upside. And I personally think we are on the brink of massive continuation for Bitcoin price. I think this bull market is right about to enter its most explosive final phase for Bitcoin. But for a lot of the altcoin holders out there, I think this is where they're really going to be excited about what happens over the next few months. We also see, exactly like we've seen before, the MVRV Z-score has once again hit a mid-cycle pause between 2 and 3. The cooling off over the past month is one thing: extremely healthy. Extremely healthy. This, if I would paint a picture of exactly what I would look for, if, say I want to make the most money possible in this market, and I want the market to do the best possible thing I think it could do, this is it. Just like, look, we can go back. This was after 2012, after 2016, right before 2020, and here we are again, getting that mid-cycle kind of pause, okay? Cool off period before doing these. These are called massive gainers right here, right? This yellow, this is what we call massive gainers. We're so close, okay? If you've been hanging on for the past 4 years, you want to hang on so tight right now because this is what we wait for. This is what we wait years for. This chart kind of just illustrates it perfectly by Mags on Twitter. The real bull that people really define bull markets. If you think about a bull market, honestly, I personally have enjoyed a lot of gains these past couple of months, past 6 to 12 months, especially beginning back in 2023. And I know a lot of people also have, but the real face melting, everybody, your grandma, your great grandma, everyone talking about crypto, that begins very soon. We haven't seen that. We have not seen millions and millions of new retail joining the space, but that comes with this next move, I believe. Okay, we're about to enter the defining part of a bull market. And we also see that the Bitcoin order books massive amounts of shorts will get liquidated around that $70,000 range. And a new all-time high will come sooner, right? Dumps are usually dumpier than people expect, and pumps are usually pumpier than people expect. A lot of buy orders actually range from about 59 to 62,500. And that also kind of makes sense. If we look at a daily chart for Bitcoin, that range that we've defended for 2 months now, right in this range here, a lot of buy orders right here. People are scooping at this level, okay? Why are people scooping at that level? Probably because it's a very good scoopage level. It's a very good level to initiate maximum scoopage before maximum pumpage. But so what do we see? We see the Bollinger Band's kind of still contracting a little bit. We see Bitcoin's actually at an incredibly decisive moment right now where we are below the 21 and 50-day moving averages. We're right now actually getting a teensy weensy little rejection off of the 21-day moving average, which is to be expected the very first time we touch it, okay? The very first time the tips touch, it's never a good thing, but over time, you can break through. And the thing is, are we seeing something exactly like the very last time we had this cross, going all the way back again to just January, just a few months ago, about 3 months ago, January 20th, we had a bearish cross. Bitcoin basically bottomed at that bearish cross, remember? Then we came up to the 50-day moving average. We got above the 21-day after a few days. We traded at the 50-day for a couple of weeks, right? Cemented it as support. And then once we were able to do that, Bitcoin started exploding. It traded a few weeks right at about 40,000. Exploded then above 50, traded sideways for a week and a half or so, exploded to 60, 70, right? And then new all-time highs. So something similar to look for here is that, this is my ideal situation. This is the best thing that could happen, is that if Bitcoin is able to trade a few days and not get immediately rejected a few days and get above this 21-day moving average to get in the range of about 67,000 to about 68,000 and kind of trade in this range, but then ultimately be able to break through the 50-day moving average, which, if it takes a few weeks like it did last time 3 months ago, or maybe it'll happen quicker, who knows? If it ultimately gets above that, that is the most bullish. That is basically your confirmation to go long, in my opinion. If we can get above the 21, which I think will happen a little bit quicker than the 50. The 50, again, could take a decent amount of time, could take a week, could take 2 to 3 weeks if we trade in this range, or we could just slice right through it. Either way, breaking above the 50 to me is where I flip short-term bullish, right? I'm extremely mid, extremely long-term bullish, extremely mid-term bullish, extremely long-term bullish. Short-term, it's still up in the air. We have things to do before we get short-term extremely bullish. But, things are not looking bad right now. If we face a big rejection right here off the 21-day, let's say we get rejected where we're at right now, then absolutely, we're going to have to try and cement support. We are going to see if this $59,000 to $62,000 support zone is really strong. But so far, for the past 2 months, it has been pretty strong, okay? This goes all the way back to the end of February, and we're now at the end of April. So basically 2 months, this area has been support. We want to see that continue. But ultimately, this is another good representation. You can see a very clear, this is where Bitcoin just keeps getting mega bounces. And as long as it can do that, we don't have much more pumping. Really, we only have to go another couple of percent to get above the 50-day moving average right now. Now, if we get a bigger drop, then obviously it'll be more percent. But another thing also actually on the daily chart for Bitcoin, I want to see it here. The daily chart, the MACD is actually about to it's trying to initiate its first switch into bullish momentum since all the way back at the end of February, when Bitcoin was at about 51,000 and then it exploded up to about 74,000. It has been in a bearish MACD trend since then. So it's attempting again to get this bullish cross. In fact, if we actually zoom in here, we have gotten no cross since then. Look, we tried to back at the end of March, rejected. We tried to back about 2 weeks ago, rejected. We see now that we're actually in this oversold area of the MACD, we're below this range. We get a bullish cross here. Like, say for example, this comes up and this, and there is that bullish cross on the short term. Again, very pumpy. I think we can switch very pumpily. We can switch very quickly to maximum pumpage, and that could very easily put us back above 70,000 like that in a single daily candle. Which, if it did break above 70, you would then want it to just hold as long as it's above 68. It wouldn't have to hold above 70. It just needs to hold above the 50-day moving average if we get above the 50-day moving average. And we see the RSI doing the same thing. It is attempting to concretely break this downtrend that we've been in for weeks now. Because this has been a short-term downtrend, very clearly. really ever since, topping out in this range. But a lot of signs on the short term are actually showing that it's possible we see continued move to the upside. Now, we are watching the stock market as well. We're right now on our fourth. Right now it's red weekly. It's a brand new week, so we have 5 straight days of trading in the stock market to see what happens. The stock market is also in a downtrend, so that's a huge thing to watch. The DXY, ever since it broke above this range, really going back to about a week, 2 weeks ago, the DXY also potentially has it might be setting a double top here as well, but it's very dependent on the Fed. I mean, the DXY is probably the thing that's the single most affected by the Fed decisions and rate cuts, because if rates do not get cut, the DXY has room to continue to go higher. Altcoins as well. I mean, looking across the board, they're not doing bad. They're up a little bit. And if Bitcoin can continue to just slowly build this support that's doing right now, altcoins will continue to increase valuation. But really, I mean, this by far is the most important chart. This is the chart I basically leave up on my computer. I have a computer that's literally just for keeping TradingView open. It's actually this computer. And I just keep this chart open like 24/7. Anytime I walk in this room, I just look at it and I think, wow. And then I go do something else. So, wow. And get sent up to FEMEX or BINGX below if you know Bitcoin or altcoins. So without further ado, that's it for me.